How to wire category 5E twisted pair cable. Ground wire here today with a demonstration of how that is done. I have a few different tools with me. If the cameraman wants to zoom in just a little bit or get up close here, cameraman. Thank you. I have an RG6 stripper / RG59 cable coaxial stripper. Some of you may not have this tool, but in replacement of that, you can go ahead and use a simple wire cutters, strippers. Everybody's got one of these in their toolbox. But for the sake of time today and to get through this, we're going to be using one of these guys. If you do quite a few of these, then you might want to consider getting one of those. So, to begin, we're going to grab our twisted pair cable here, and I'm going to be using this stripper again. Some of you may not have any of these. That's fine. You can grab simple wire cutters and you can get the idea of what you basically need to do. All this is going to do is it's going to run a line. It's going to cut that installation a little bit so I can strip it back. You'll see what I'm going to be doing here. So you want to start with at least 4 inches. You want to strip back at least 4 inches of that insulation to begin with. We're going to go ahead and strip that. You want to then grab your wire cutters. I have to kind of finish up what the wire strippers did because it don't work like it's supposed to, which is funny, but that's fine. And then, as you rip it open, you have what's called 4-pair cable. That is what makes that category 5E. So, begin by getting a good grip, a hold of these 4 pairs here. Strip a little bit more back of the insulation, about 2 inches, because we want to discard all this up here. And then go ahead and cut off both that insulation and what you might have, depending on your brand of cable, is a little strand like this. That's to discard as well. It's a little fibrous strand, nothing to do with the wires. It's really just to help the integrity of the cable. You know that wire strippers are not meant to cut fabric, so it takes a little bit of work. Now you've got 4 pairs. If the cameraman wants to get a close up here, we're going to go through exactly what each one of these pairs mean. You want to first begin by untwisting these pairs, hence the name twisted pair cable. So you want to go ahead and just as so unwind each one of these cables. Now for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and either fast forward through this part or skip to the next part depending on what I feel like doing when I'm editing the video. Alright, well here we are back with our category 5E cable. We have removed the outer insulation, we've removed that fibrous strand, we have also untwisted these wires. However, after untwisting these wires, you'll discover there's still a little bit of a twist to them, so you want to run your finger over it, bend it a little bit, but of course bringing it back to its straight shape. That will remove the twists in the wire. If the cameraman wants to get a close-up here, we're going to go through the order of which these wires are going to need to be arranged. We have 4 different colors here. We have green, orange, blue, and brown. There are solid colors and there are striped colors. Do not do as cameraman here has done. He's basically just taken in whatever order that he felt necessary. There is a particular order that need to be arranged. By the way, cameraman is Time Bandit. Say hi, Time Bandit.
Time Bandit says hi.
Great. Now we take, beginning with the orange, stripe orange, you want to work these around in a way so that they're not crossing over each other. If you'll notice down the center of that wire, everything is pretty evenly distributed. This does take a little bit of time, but you can see the picture that you want. But you want to get these wires in the correct order. and here we will discuss the correct order. You want to begin with stripe orange, orange, stripe green, stripe blue, solid green, stripe brown, and brown. I've pretty much just put them in order. However, you're going to need to tweak with it a little bit to get it so that none of these strands are crossing over each other, as they don't seem to be doing too bad right there. So you can see if you get it to look like that, you're pretty much set. So now we'll go ahead and get to the next part of this video about actually crimping that connector on. Alright, well here we are with our category 5E cable. We have go ahead and separated the wires out in the correct order. You can see we have the 4 colors, and we've got the stripe orange, orange, stripe green, stripe blue, green, stripe brown, and brown. That is the order these need to be in. Now carefully, keeping the order of these cables, bring them in closer together, as I'm doing now. This is just my method. There are various methods. Now run your fingers up along that cable, keeping the order of these cables in the correct order with your fingernail. That's one way of doing it. And you want to just pretty much flatten these out, bend the wires out to keep them straight. And now you can see that we have a beautifully organized in the way we need them to be. Starting to look like a category cable yet? Should be. And now, with that fingernail, about 1/4 of an inch, say about 3/8 of an inch actually, away from the beginning of that cable where that installation is, you want to go ahead and grab that one tool that you must have to do the job, and that is your crimping tools. And you're also going to want that RJ45 connector handy. So now, using the cutters that I have here on my crimping tools, yours may or may not have, depends on the model, we want to go ahead at that fingernail mark, or just a little above, because we can trim it back later if we need to. Cut those wires flush, as I've done there. And now, with your RJ45 connector, you can pretty much let these go. They should stay in the order that they're in. We're going to double check. It's stripe orange, orange, stripe green, blue, stripe blue, green, stripe brown, brown. It's perfect. So bend them out just a little bit more. You can hold the connector up next to it. You can kind of see the distance you're going to need. We're going to need to shorten that just a little bit, because your installation is going to go to about that point inside of the connector. And that's what is going to hold this in place. Ow, I think I got one in the eye. Now place your connector on with the orange colors being on that side, and the connector having the little prong here that I honestly don't know the technical name for, facing away from you. Keep the wires flat, press them up, push the wire into the connector as far as it'll go. You'll know it's in all the way when you see the wires hitting the tip of that connector. I know for a fact, whether you can see it on camera or not, they are in all the way. Go ahead, grab your crimping tools, place the connector in all the way through the tool, and crimp down as hard as you can. And that is one RJ45 connector attached.